are able to get all the data that's out there. Because if you're missing one page, that could be a critical page in the user flow, and you're not getting the right information. Are you using Google Webmaster Tools? Checking the yes box on that will help you understand what keywords are being used and what keywords people are using to find your site or pages on your site. Is anybody using paid advertising on Google or PPC campaigns using AdWords? Again, you could tie Google Analytics right into that and then get great reporting. And do I have a master profile with no filtering? So you have your subdomains, you have MBA, you have psychology, you have your mobile site. You want to roll all of that information into one profile so that you know the entire story that's being told. And then you want to get granular and look at each of those verticals separately so that you know where you need to make changes and where you need to make enhancements.
Lots of good information on that slide. That subdomain point, we found out with a number of schools, that subdomain would double counting traffic, you're doing all those things. So really make sure you monitor that.
With our studyabroad.com website, we had that problem where we thought all of a sudden we were having some great traffic and it doubled our traffic, but we realized that we were counting traffic to ourselves. And it was referring people to different parts of studyabroad.com, and we just had bad experience from that, and we're giving false information.
Yeah.
We changed it, and everything works perfectly now. And it's just one little string of code, again, in the help section.
It's always a bummer of a moment, right? Like, oh my God, we're not doing as well as I thought. Cool. So, subdomain side note. So you want to walk through this one?
Sure. Again, this is just what I was explaining. MBA, your university, accounting, and it's just the structure of what you're looking at, just so you know where you're pulling the right analytics from.
Right.
So again, going back to the subdomains, you want to have that combined reporting for all of your subdomains, which is your master profile, which you don't manipulate, you don't touch, you just use and look at it, and then you make a decision based on when you filter things down. Yes?
Can you take a step back and explain what a subdomain is? I'm so confused right now.
Sure, no problem. So it's, whether or not this is a good idea is, I guess, we get conflicting opinions from the search engine optimization world. But what it is a section of your website that's characterized differently than the rest of your website. So if you go back a slide, or forward slide. So the MBA would come before your university name, and that would distinguish that for users as a separate section of your site. Then the other option is not having a subdomain and putting the MBA as a subdirectory after. So it's just putting the subdirectory before or using a folder after. And it's your webmaster's preference when they were setting up the site, and it's just something that needs to be looked at because it will affect your reporting at the end of the day. Did that help answer it? Yeah.
So this is building on that. We are publicpolicy.umda.edu, and all we're caring about is public policy.
Right.
So how does that affect?
So what you're going to need to do is make sure that you're creating a profile in Google Analytics that just looks at your area. So instead of looking at the entire school and the other programs in the school, you want to make sure that you have a report that just gives you the information for your area. The other thing you want to do is remember that there's a string of code that needs to be in Google Analytics, and you may have it already there, but that will show that there's no internal referrals. So if somebody's on the MBA subdomain and they come to your subdomain, it will count them as just coming to the site, not as a referrer, and it won't double count that traffic. So it's a little technical, but your webmaster will be able to help you through that process, hopefully.
Yeah, our webmaster, I know that it's set up, but I think it's more of a site problem that it's so fragmented that it took me 2 months of really aggressively just to get a site.
Yeah, and now again, I'm not surprised by that, because I mean, what happened is when these sites originated, people just kept putting add-ons on it and making it bigger and bigger and bigger. Now it's a huge monster, and it's going to take somebody to kind of bring that in, but again, resources, time, who has it?
Is anyone going through that or redoing their site? And I kind of think, yeah, to Josh's point, right, some sites you saw, well, it's like a house with 5 different architects, what does this mean? Why not? And you really,
Like, stack on time.
yeah,
to
exactly.
the,
You really have to kind of streamline
yeah,
it.
to the end date that somebody does shoot.
Yeah, yeah. And that's actually a very good time to get all this in track, you know, get the SEO, you know, get the content. What content do you want to switch over? What content is telling you? Really good content.
Yes.
So the subdomain is the MVA program that's at this institution. Does it go into the subdomain subdirectory area as well?
It can. It can. It gets a little convoluted, but I think the point to take away from this is if you have a subdomain, make sure you're tracking it the right way and not double counting traffic. If you take those words back to the office, they'll help you.
Any other points, questions on it? So where are my website users coming from? Again, you might be surprised by the results. You know, compare different vendors that you have from your organic traffic. You know, your organic traffic is the best traffic you're ever going to get. You know, make sure that you know where that's coming from. Referrals to AdWords, to social media.
And then you're taking those KPIs that we spoke about before and kind of building that out. So you have your page visits, you have your duration of your visit, your percent of new visitors. So you want to look at these things by channel too, because where are you getting your new visitors from? And where are you getting your repeat visitors from? Is it Facebook? Are they coming through Twitter? So you'll be able to really drill down to the micro level once you have this information. And then again, it's all about, take it back to the beginning where it's figuring out your return on investment for those channels and what you need to do. And then make sure you understand what channels you're using. Is it email? Is it banner advertising? Is it paid advertising on Google? Is it direct traffic, which behaves totally different than any other traffic? And you'll probably see conversion rates go through the roof with that direct traffic because they found you just by knowing to type in the name of the school. And all of this is super duper traffic, and you want to keep that in mind. And we have some tools in here that can help you track things. So any email we send out to gradschools.com, any link in that email has a tracking code. So we can follow that user flow from as soon as they open that email, click on a link, and then find out what they're doing on gradschools.com and work to make that a better user experience. Somebody over here mentioned that they do email campaigns and they track it. Do you use tracking code like this to make sure that things are working when you put these emails together?
I personally create that report, so
Okay. But I mean,
like, if it's tied over our email service provider, it doesn't matter. More information than
okay, so there's two parts of that. There's the email service provider part, which shows open rates, which shows click-through rates. And then there's what happens once somebody clicks on that, those links and comes to your site. And that's what we want to focus on and figure out if we're doing an effective job of communicating with those follow-up emails, with those,
Can you filter out, like, if I have office staff that are on our website all the time, can you
Yes.
filter those business out?
Yeah.
you sure can, through the IP address.
And you should make sure you do, so that's another key thing. Make sure you separate out your internal traffic. That's what going to skew all your results. And as Josh said, I think we're done. So by channel, what am I seeing, right? Am I seeing applications, leads being submitted, requests for guidebooks? Are the users watching videos? You know, are they watching the entire video? Again, as we talked about, the more you kind of peel back the layers of the onion, the more you really can track. And when you know what you're looking for, you know really kind of where to, really kind of pour in. Ensure, what's my conversion rate by source? Because we said that at the beginning, that's really what you want to get down to, with all this information. What source is converting better than others?
And at the end of the day, you can end up being a hero because you'll be able to move those budget dollars to other places that are working, just because you have some insight into the goals that you're setting up. And this is just an example of once you're in Google Analytics, how easy it is to set up a goal. So let's say that you have an application on your site, and then somebody hits submit, and then the next page is a thank you page that says thanks for putting your application through. All you need to do is hit URL destination, and then the destination of the thank you page. Save that. Now you have a goal that lets you know how conversion rate looks in terms of applications, and you can follow each source through to that endpoint.
We've had a difficult time, maybe this can help us. From our webpage, you click to apply, and then it takes you to our vendor's website to submit an application. So we want to see, are you coming from distance education to the grad school site and then going on to apply? But our vendor can't seem to get it worked out so that we can see who's going on to their site.
Yeah, again, and we've heard this before too, and it takes a partnership with that vendor to make sure that works, because they're going to have to implement some tracking codes on their side that will send the data back to you. And it's going to be a conversation with them.
They've
and-
told us they can do it.
Right. And that's a red flag, right? Well, why can't you? You know, others can. You know, so it's interesting. And we suggest, well, we've seen that a number of times.
And then the webmaster tools, we won't spend much time on it, but it's a checkbox that says you want to connect your webmaster tools with your Google Analytics, and it's setting up an account for that. And it gives you a lot of insight into search engine optimization and the keywords people are using to find your site.
Right. Make sure, absolutely, make sure that's enabled. We promise you will love it.
And same thing with AdWords integration. If you are using Google paid AdWords to drive traffic to your site, you want to see how that behaves against your organic. You want to see how that behaves against certain keywords. So it's just taking behaviors, looking at what works and what doesn't work, and then putting the dollars in the right places.
So recommended actions, like lots of content. Any questions before we kind of jump in? Recommended actions? Yes.
You just touched on AdWords. I'm having a big debate with my media and publication office on the value of that. I would like to hear your impression and
Sure.